Oh, that's hot. Ah, that's hot. God damn.
Monster Hunter Wilds, the upcoming installment in the Monster Hunter series. If you were lucky enough to play the beta, you know what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, it was only available for about a week or so. Us PlayStation players got early access, so you best believe I was playing this game as much as I possibly could. Now, I've been on the hunt since the very first Monster Hunter game that I played on PSP, goated console by the way. Went on to Freedom 2, Second G, Freedom Unite. I did not play Monster Hunter the one on the Wii. I didn't play that one. Hunted every monster under the sun in Monster Hunter World, and even delved a little bit into Monster Hunter Rise. Now, the current game that we're covering on this channel is Space Marine 2. I love Warhammer 40k. I'm consuming Warhammer content on a regular basis. I'm addicted. But Monster Hunter is a game that is near and dear to my heart, so I'm definitely going to make a Hitchhiker's Guide to Monster Hunter when Monster Hunter Wild comes out in February, especially having played the beta. So, is it any good? Does it run well? The graphics, the music, the gameplay? Let's talk about it. Every gamer has that one game that reigns supreme. It's the game that you have the fondest memories with, the game that elated you, filled you with awe and inspiration. Now, I'm a nerd through and through. I love it all. Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Dungeons and Dragons. I play whatever I can get my hands on. The Witcher, God of War, Skyrim, Elden Ring. But for me, my one game or game series will always be Monster Hunter. Now, I'm what you'd call a pro gamer. I've left many hunters dumbfounded with my extraordinary skills. I've been divine spirit slashing monsters into oblivion since I was a wee little lad, so I was ecstatic when I heard the announcement of the beta. I was a little skeptical with the trailers that came out a while back, but I loved Monster Hunter World. I did have my issues with Monster Hunter Rise, so how does Monster Hunter Wilds compare? Now, having played the beta, I can confidently say that this game is gearing up to be amazing. If you're a fellow hunter, you will be like a fish in water. But for newcomers, let me assure you that the beta is gearing the game up to be stunning, wholesome, adventurous. Today I want to talk about what stood out, what took me back to the good old days, and what I'm excited to see in the full version of the game. Alright, let's get gaming. 4 things I want to talk about today: graphics, audio, gameplay, lore, the 4 pillars of any game, really. First up, how does this game look? Now, graphics have never been a make or break situation for me. I've played plenty of games where the graphics seemed low res, low fidelity, but the game itself was phenomenal. Inversely, I've played plenty of games that have incredible graphics, but the game itself was trash. In Monster Hunter Wilds, or in the beta at the very least, the graphics are solid. It has its own style to it, and I love it. To me, it looks like a middle ground between stylistic and photorealistic, which makes sense. We're in a world where people are carrying around swords twice their size and weight, fighting dragons and shit. It'd be weird if it was too photorealistic. As for the art and the artwork, the art design of the game, it's stunning. Incredible vistas, captivating environments, creative outfits and armor, unique enemy designs. We start the beta off with a classic Monster Hunter trope. The sand ship got me feeling like a Fremen up in here. We got the classic start to our journey, where on our way to a certain location, something monster related happens that needs our immediate attention and our expert hunter skills. The ship, the views, the setting, all of it sets the tone brilliantly. The armor sets they made available to us reminded me of the wackiness we've come to know and love in all Monster Hunter games. Our favorite feline friends are looking as cute and cuddly as ever. The monster design is on point. Monster Hunter is known for its over-the-top creature design, but does a great job of incorporating aspects of various real-life creatures into their monsters. The beta allows you to hunt various types of big monsters and small monsters, giving us a good feel of what we can expect in the full game. We got this toad-looking thing, which is clearly a water base. a brute monster, which is also a pack monster and has certain mechanics to it. Another Monster Hunter classic, sand monsters that treat the desert like it's a kiddie pool. And the one dragon-like monster you can face, or wyvern as we wyvern as we call them around these parts, because dragons are totally different and I can't wait to see them either, is the Raydao. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's an electrically charged murder dino. Love it. I like that you could actually test out all the hunting mechanics in this beta and even test out different enemy types. Gold star. The small monsters we get to see were really cool too. Swordfish gators? Come on, that's absurd. And awesome. Vulture velociraptors? Naturally. These guys. I remember these guys. And dude, I know we've had Vesapods and Hornitars, and I've hunted my fair share of Vesapod queens, but what on God's green earth are these things? You can hear these fuckers before you can see them. It's insane. Like, what the fuck are these? Alright, moving on to the audio. Audio is huge for me when it comes to games. By trade, I'm a sound engineer and music producer, so I like to pay attention to the audio in all my media. When you load up the beta, instantly you're hit with breathtaking music. I've always been a fan of Monster Hunter's orchestral epic style of music. In that category, Monster Hunter Wild looks like it's going to deliver. Throughout the beta, I found myself appreciating the music, the cutscenes, the boss fights. That's one department I know Capcom is going to knock out of the park. As for the overall sound design, I love their attention to detail. It's the little things that stick out, like the sound of the sand blowing across the dunes. Like everywhere you go, you can tell that the people who made this game really love this game. The main thing, audio-wise, that stuck out to me was how the character animations are accurate to their dialogue. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if this is different in other language settings. I only tested it out for the English language settings, and the character animations are on point. The lip animations are on point. Monster Hunter is infamous for having certain moments that take you to the uncanny valley and yeet you off the edge. But so far in Monster Hunter Wilds, all the dialogue, all the animations, it's all on point. It's looking great. Which brings me to one of the major differences between this game and every other installment in the franchise. Us, the main character. For the first time in any Monster Hunter game, we as a player have actual dialogue. We say words instead of grunting enthusiastically. Traditionally in Monster Hunter, you don't play as a predetermined character, which would make recording dialogue a lot easier. For example, the way you play as Kratos in God of War or Joel in Last of Us. In Monster Hunter, the game is designed for you to be able to place yourself as a character into the narrative, like a Soulsborne game, Elden Rings, Dark Souls, or Skyrim, or Fallout. But it turns out, in Monster Hunter Wilds, you'll be able to choose from a selection of voices, and every voice has recorded full dialogue for the game. Another testament to this labor of love. I feel like by adding dialogue, Capcom is trying to add a little bit more of an identity to your character, and this makes sense because they are clearly trying to beef up the lore aspect of the game. But more on the lore in a bit. Before diving into that, I want to quickly cover gameplay. Alright, right off the bat. One of the newest mechanics we are introduced to is our mount. And I don't mean like mounting monsters. I mean, you have your very own noble steed, and it's a bird dinosaur thing. Look at it, it's pretty cute. Mounts aren't new to the franchise, but if your main Monster Hunter experience has been Monster Hunter World, then you probably haven't been hunting on a mount yet. The mount system is very automated, which I'm not always the biggest fan of, I'll be honest. But the more I played, the more it made sense. The way the gameplay works, the way you're supposed to play the game at the very least, you do enough damage to your target monster and it will run from one locale or zone to another. Eventually, you do enough damage and it will try and run to its respective safe zone. It's different for every monster species. And then it will try to rest or sleep in order to heal. Once at this stage, you can either kill or capture the monster to complete the hunt. The rule of thumb is, every time the monster changes locale, before you give chase, you top up on everything that you need to top up on. Health, weapon sharpness, craft anything you need to craft, collect anything you need to collect. so on. The mount system allows you to do all of this while simultaneously chasing the monster. While mounted, you can sharpen your weapon, you can eat, collect items, consume consumables. I can't lie, it became super convenient. Again, I know similar mechanics were available in Monster Hunter Rise, but they did a great job of bringing it into their next-gen installments. I also like the fact that there's a lot less fast travel in this game. I'm sure there is going to be fast travel when new locations are introduced in the full version of the game, but in the beta, the base camp and the rest of the environment was seamless. You accept a quest and you literally walk out into the big bad world to start it. It's awesome. A few other additions I liked: you can set up mobile mini camps, so you can set up your own personalized system of pit stops. You also have this lady who is essentially a mobile quest counter. All things I appreciate. Now let's talk the meat and potatoes of the gameplay section before moving on to the lore section. Let's talk about the weapons. Now, I have been, and always will be, a longsword main. So even though, yes, I'm a veteran hunter, yes, I've been playing since the handheld days, if you were to ask me what buttons to press to make gunlands go boom, I wouldn't be able to tell you. I think it's R2 and triangle circle, right? The triangle circle combo. I used to play gunlands, unless they changed it. I'm pretty sure that's what it... I'm a pro gamer. As for the longsword and the longsword mechanics, I am a little underwhelmed. I know. I've only had nothing but good things to say about the game so far, but I gotta keep it a buck. The best way I can describe it is it didn't feel right. Maybe it's because we were only given access to the most basic version of each weapon type, maybe with better stats, some affinity, the right gems. The swings won't feel as awkward, but as of right now, they feel, well, just that, they feel awkward. I also hate the fact that by pressing circle after triangle, you won't do the pokey first, some pro gamer terminology here. Instead, you'll swing up and then do the pokey. Maybe I'm just being a little baby about it because the pokey has been ingrained in my muscle memory and I calculate it into all my combos, but I don't like it.
Years of academy training wasted.
Same thing goes for the Spirit Slash combo. I guess they added a lot more directionality to it, but it's too messy. It gets too confusing, and it will take some time to get used to. I wager even for other longsword mains. I do like some of the new forms of attacks they've introduced, like the targeting weak spot stuff. That's really cool. The maps allow for more verticality, and there are more environmental traps that you can take advantage of. Overall, it's solid. The gameplay, the combat, it's great. The altered longsword mechanics will just take some time to get used to. As for the other weapons, again, I don't know shit about Jack. Gotta be honest. But I did test some of them out. They're fun. In terms of design, again, classic over-the-top Monster Hunter design. I love it. And trying out the different weapons definitely got me excited for all the different combinations we'll see players implement when the game finally launches. Okay, final point I want to talk about, and I'm very excited about this, guys. The lore. One thing that really stuck out to me was this area. It's another village. Not your base camp village, but another one that you can run through in-world, within your map. Monster Hunter is famous for having expansive vistas, even if it's just a view, full of detail. Temples, abandoned cities, wrecks, ruins. The franchise is chock full of fascinating views. This is further enhanced through item descriptions that allude to ancient civilizations and cultures, different villages out there beyond the jungles and the deserts and the mountains. But we've never been able to reach them. Even in the games where we can travel to different villages, it's more like you fast travel to different base camps, and when on a hunt, you fast travel to that hunt-specific location. This isn't the case in Monster Hunter Wilds. But what does all this extra mobility, seamless maps, explorable villages, what does all of this mean? Well, I think it means we are going to get a ton of lore, not just about the monsters, but the different societies that exist in the Monster Hunter world. Not Monster Hunter World, in the world of Monster. Well, I guess in that case, yes, Monster Hunter World is included in the universe of Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter games do a great job of coming up with lore, stats, measurements, all that kind of stuff for all their monsters, but as players can clearly see, there's a lot more to the story. There are entire villages and cultures out there in the world that contribute to the overall monster hunting society. We've heard about legendary monsters, but maybe now we'll be hearing about legendary hunters or legendary hunts. I just have so many questions now. Is this village a part of the hunting guild or any guild? Are there prerequisites to becoming a member of the guild? There are definitely going to be other hidden villages, so where are they? Who are they? The fact that I'm asking these questions just goes to show that this game isn't just going to be another updated version of the classic hunting, carving, crafting, repeat. There's going to be a lot more for the player to experience and explore. So, overall, the Monster Hunter Wilds beta was a ton of fun. It ran smoothly, even when matchmaking, which in previous games in Monster Hunter World included, has been an absolute shit show. I think they paid just enough attention to the graphics without getting lost in the sauce, staying true to their classic look and feel. The changes in the various mechanics and the setup of the game, the addition of the new lore, all promotes exploration and adventure. All in all, it's gearing up to be an incredible experience. 4 months ago, we'll be keeping our eye on it, but the beta was a signal to all hunters, get ready, shit's about to get epic. But that is going to do it for today's video, guys. Thank you for sticking around till the end. You are awesome. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for all notifications, all that good stuff. Again, the current game we're covering on the channel is Space Marine 2 and the insane world of Warhammer 40k. If you're into that stuff or you're into video games in general, stay tuned for more upcoming content. Till next time, y'all.
There he is.